Doctors are supposed to be rich, right? At least that's how most people think about them due to how many live in big houses and drive fancy cars. So even with their high incomes, why aren't most doctors millionaires? In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why, and stay tuned to the end where I'm going to discuss the most important one and what you can do about it if you're a doctor. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, Louisiana periodontist that's on a mission to get you out of the rat race with passive income. Do me a favor and download the Passive Income Guide with the link below the video. All right, let's break this down into 5 reasons why most doctors aren't millionaires. Number 1 has to do with the time commitment. Let me explain. So if you're a doctor, then you understand becoming one is a long process that requires a significant investment of time and resources. It normally takes 10, 11, 12 years of post-secondary education and training to become a doctor. This typically includes 4 years of undergraduate studies, 4 years of medical school, and a minimum of 3 to 4 years of residency training. For myself, a periodontist, so like if you're a dentist, it's 4 years of dental school after college, and then anywhere from 1 to 6 years of residency, depending on what type of specialist you want to be. So this extended period of education means that those who pursue a career in medicine or dentistry typically miss out on other career opportunities. They also must delay their entry into the workforce, which means that they miss out on earning a salary for a long time because they're in school. Now, when I graduated from college, I was 21, but I didn't start practicing my specialty in periodontics until I was 29. So that actually gave my college buddies and high school buddies an 8-year head start on me when it came down to making money. Additionally, during this period, doctors also must make a significant financial investment, including paying for tuitions, books, living expenses, which, as you know, can all add up. Also, this long-term process can also make it very difficult to plan for their future and make important life decisions such as starting a family, buying a house, or saving for retirement. All right, so that's number 1, the time commitment. Number 2 is something called opportunity cost. So let me explain about this. As we mentioned before, there are significant financial opportunity costs associated with becoming a doctor, as most med schools graduates typically accumulate debt, sometimes including undergraduate work too. So they have college debt, medical school or dental school debt, okay? As you probably know, if you're a physician or dentist, medical and dental school is very expensive, and most students typically must rely on student loans to pay for their education. Currently, the average med student graduates average, and this is probably on the low side, $250,000 to $300,000 in debt when they get out of training. This, as you can imagine, can have a significant impact on their financial situation and delay their ability to achieve really any type of financial stability. Now, when I finished training, I owed about 300 grand. And to be honest with you, it was all that I thought about for the first 7 years until it was paid off, as I really didn't like having that feeling of having that over my head while I was working. And I guess I can contribute all of that back then because I was such a big Dave Ramsey follower, because he really ingrains in people that all debt, doesn't matter what it is, all debt was bad, even though mine was like 2% interest rate back then. Now, many times when you have this amount of debt, it's tough to save to buy a house or invest in assets to help with retirement. And something else that we're now seeing, especially in dentistry, is more new grads are not starting their own practice because it's just too expensive to begin with, plus coupled with the fact that they're saddled with debt. Many times, this limits their ability to take risk and pursue other entrepreneurial opportunities. All right, reason number 3 actually segues into this one: missing out on investment opportunities. Now, pursuing a career as a doctor, you often miss out on the opportunity to start investing in an early age, which, as you probably know, is a powerful wealth building tool. In essence, you get started much later in life earning a salary versus most people. Additionally, starting to invest early has a compounding effect, meaning that you'd have more time to let your investments grow. As a result, somebody who starts investing early in their career will have a larger nest egg versus somebody who starts investing later in their career, even if they invest the same amount of money. If you're a doctor, You may be thinking to yourself, well, I should have more money saved once I retire because I typically make more than the average person. Now, I get that doctors make $200, $300, $400+ a year and can invest more, but again, their starting line is much later than the average person. Unfortunately, many students go to medical school or dental school for the potential income that they can make, but they're now starting to realize that if they took a lower paying career early on, they could still end up very well. This is based on the fact that they could have gotten their money to start working for them at a much younger age. Reason number 4 most doctors struggle is something called lifestyle inflation. And inflation is a hot topic these days, but we're going to talk about the one that's coupled to your lifestyle. Because most doctors, they don't end up becoming millionaires. Basically, it stems from the fact that they have to delay gratification while they're in school. Thus, it leads to this lifestyle inflation. Now, when I started practicing, again, around the age 29 to 30, most of my friends, they were already established in their careers. They were already raising kids. They already had a house and nice vehicles. As a result of this, when we get out, we kind of have this feeling of being left out. We're actually trailing behind our peers. And once we start making decent money, then we feel as we just have to go all in and make up for lost time, right? Actually, Dave Ramsey calls this phenomenon doc-itis. It's sort of an entitlement mindset we get after our training, as we feel that we deserve this, we're entitled to this. We worked hard, we've delayed our gratification, and now it's just time to let loose financially. Which actually leads us to reason number 5, which is probably one of the biggest and most important reasons: lack of financial education. And the worst part of all of this, again, is that we graduate with zero financial training. Think about it. It's like a college athlete going into the pros. They've worked hard. They've trained hard for years and years. They've worked out. They've done whatever they need to do. And then they make it to the pros and they get this big check dropped into their lap and they don't have a clue what to do with it. It's no wonder that most pro athletes that we know, they go bankrupt, as they're not prepared to handle it. There's actually a proverb in the Bible that says, to whom much is given, much is required. If you're given a lot of money and you don't know how to handle it, then it's going to wither away. That's a fact. Look, it's no secret that doctors make a lot of money, but just like the pro athlete, they don't get the knowledge or experience, or they don't get the expertise to manage their finances effectively. Unfortunately, this leads them to making poor financial decisions and limits their ability to build wealth. So for example, I recently spoke to a group of medical students, and before I went, I really wanted to put myself in their shoes and give them the information I wish I'd had back when I was in their position when I was in dental school. And I was thinking about, well, what can I title this presentation, this lecture? And I was like, well, it's exactly what I want to tell them, what they don't teach you in medical school. So they need to understand the basics of how money works. I wish I would have understood the basics of how money works back then. They need to know the difference between active income, which is what most of them, and you're probably earning right now when you treat patients. It's the one that's taxed the highest, versus passive income, which is taxed the lowest and does not require their time and energy. Just the basic differences between the two. They need to know that even though they aren't actively making money now while they're in school, I was talking to them, it's important for them to start educating themselves now, because if they don't, they're not going to know how to handle their 6-figure income, right? Just like the pro athlete. Now, I get that doctors' education and training focus primarily on treating patients and not on their personal finance. But that matters a lot, right? And I understand that this can be difficult for them to acquire the knowledge that they need to effectively manage your finances, because again, we don't get any of that in school. Right now, if you're studying to be a physician or dentist, or if you're already one, or if you're a high income earner, and you don't feel that you have the financial education to really handle your money effectively, then what I want you to do is check out this next video. It's what schools don't teach and exactly how money works. It's the basics, but I'm telling you, it's going to kickstart. I'll see you over there in the video.